Oh, so you're picking Rosie because y'all go away.
No, she made my turn.
All right, this is Rosie Lynch of Mulvey County. I am very proud to say I actually studied with the current mayor at TU when we were kids, I guess.
That's right. We still got
Still kids.
childish.
So and your heart, I know, is very much toward helping with the housing issue, the homeless issue. Of course, I'm doing that in Mulvey County with our homeless shelter, celebrating 30 years serving for
Congratulations. That's awesome.
And it's still here. So, with all the cuts and everything that's going on, how are you guys working to work and understand that so that we in the rural community can glean that information?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the question was around homelessness. So we're doing a number of things. So the way that I've thought about, so the worst thing that happened to me, and a lot of us got elected mayor, is that all the things every mayor could depend on for the entirety of Tulsa Mayor City, which was a cooperation from the federal government, is not necessarily given anymore. But we still have this thing, we still got to take care of people. We don't have the option not to take care of people. So one of the things we're doing right now is making sure we're working to expand our shelter space because we just got so many people on the streets and trying to get them to places. We're doing it now. We're looking at modular homes, which we can produce really, really quickly, expand our shelter capacity, but also being really aggressive on the affordable housing side. So in Tulsa, we'll spend somewhere in the neighborhood of a little over $100 million over the next several years on affordable housing. We got an analysis back. I have a goal to get 6,000 units out of the ground in 4 years. And so we had this analysis done to work with developers and builders and say, what do you need as it relates to building housing? Because what we didn't want to do is say, we got money and invest the money in ways that people can't use it. That's the biggest issue of the state right now with some of the housing finance agencies is like the regulations around it. And I'm not saying, these aren't like, some people say, oh, cut the red tape. These are just things that make it, the money unusable, essentially. We want to get away from that. And so we got about 70 responses back from a request for information. It's about $700 million in investment in the city, both public and private, so that's not necessarily bad. That represents about 10,000 units. And so we're starting to invest our money in the smartest ways we possibly can. And then working with our homelessness outreach organizations, using opioid settlement dollars in large part, which there's not enough of those, but we're putting them to work. And then parlaying that with folks in the community and saying, let people know how they can do their part. The one thing I've learned as mayor, I think has been most impactful, is that when we work with people in the community and we give them a lot of clarity around what is needed and why, and then what happens on the back end of that, the outcomes we're after, we get a whole lot more cooperation. And so we decided that we have to look into it. Nobody's going to, just like I said about the courts are going to bail us out, nobody's going to bail us out. And so that means we've got to spend our money incredibly wisely. Any given night, there's about 1,600 people in Tulsa who sleep on the streets. So we have very specific goals on how we're going to address it. I was in a helicopter a couple days ago and looked at encampments across town. And I think about Tulsa, which is home to the second largest community foundation in the country, right? We talk about being the most generous city in the nation, but I got 1,600 people sleeping outside. It's a community challenge, and we're looking at ways in which we can respond to it as an entire community. And the other thing I'll say is, we move forward, Rosie, would love to have you come up and for us to come out, because we do understand it's not just a Tulsa issue, it's a statewide issue. And as we do things we're learning that work really well, our goal is not to keep it a secret. And frankly, if you guys got things that are working really well, we want to work with everybody. I do, I know I'm the mayor of the second largest city, but sometimes folks have really good practices of working well with folks, and they could be in a town of 12. So we want to learn from the town of 12. As much as we may learn from New York City or anywhere else, this is about taking care of people, and I don't want us to do that.
Thank you.